Imagine scanning a QR code at your doctor's office and instantly sharing your medical history, just like when you board a flight. Imagine having an AI assistant that knows your care plan and helps you manage medications with confidence. Picture patients truly at the center of their care, building stronger relationships with providers who can focus on healing instead of on paperwork, freed from the administrative burden that technology should have solved years ago. That's not science fiction. That's what healthcare can and should look like. We're finally at a moment where real progress is possible. CMS, under Administrator Oz's leadership, understands both the urgency and the opportunity. CMS is building the core infrastructure, a national healthcare directory, secure data access, and modernized systems. But the future of healthcare technology can't come only from the government. The apps, services, and tools that make this data useful in people's lives must come from you, the private sector. We're creating the space for new ideas to rise so better solutions can compete, scale, and help real people like Morgan. Step into this space with us. This isn't just a showcase, it's a national sign of acceleration. It's about action. We're asking real companies to make real commitments, to build data sharing networks, to create apps that deliver real health outcomes, to help us kill the clipboard and give people a healthcare system that's smart and secure. Let's stop waiting and let's definitely stop faxing. Let's start building. The right data at the right time can mean the difference between loss and hope. The time is now. Are you in?
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today's show is called The Ups and Downs of Suffering on January 24th, 2026.
Well, that would make the date 1-4, which is a phrase, a single entity or a human, to 4, which can mean a lot of things. It can mean the force of nature or your inception. It could mean what you're for and your motive or your fire. It could be FORE for what you get ahead of. Or it could be FOUR, the F that we all share as human species members. The road to suffering is dispelled after inspection of the meanings inside the word suffer, and we'll get to that during this show.
Rome's dynasty ruled the world as an extension of the Babelonian addiction to immortality, iron to clay, and transhumanism, soul spark heisting. We know that we roam every day and always return home with my bounty.
In our experience, the path to know thyself and resolution with the creator of creation is in our speech, on our tongues, in the language, in our eyes, and the symbols that we see and try to manipulate in our understanding, the sounds in our ears, and in our human-to-human relationships. Every secret of the self and its partnership with the Creator is revealed in speech and ears and its history in the context of the human-to-human engagement.
Woman versus man versus confused, the child. We are led to confusion about the gender universe, so principles and powers can steal the power of the contention of the gender universe. We are confused due to crimes we allow.
The frog wants to know about the K.
I've had your view on MN 11 and 12, and you've gestured at the importance of 10. I guess I'm just asking for some K guidance, if that makes sense.
Well, the 11th letter is L, the 12th letter is M, and the 13th and central letter of the alphabet is letter N and represents the child's position that all humans hold because their newborn pure self stays with you for life. The 1 through 9 number code leads to 10, but we should look at it from either direction as well. K is a symbol of two symbols merged. The straight line is ice and the bent lines are fire, but they're merged to a mystery And that issues the format of the gender universe, and we universians of it.
No one has ever told what emotions actually are. Emotions unraveled. And emotions actually are and what their origin is. But we are happy to contribute our conclusion. And someone wrote, I learned emotional regulation in preschool. Was that wrong? Did they really teach me to suppress my emotions?
Yes, they wanted to suppress your emotions and have you misunderstand them, because emotions are the highest currency trade in our universe and in our engagements with each other. The money, the dollars, the tokens, the possessions, those are pseudonym names for our emotions. They're place markers. Emotional currency is measured in weight, or where your values lay, where your nose is pointed. In these times that we have evolved into, there are now a range of measurement systems of our human psyches and our emotional weight, where we place it. And these measurement systems are used by the kings with no kingdoms and the rulers with no land to create conditions of a sealed containment around any and all human beings, their thoughts and their emotions. And this will trap their soul spark into perpetuity, thus allowing the kings to maintain a source of reality for themselves here on earth.
Revealed and confessed and disclosed in The Cage, the Star Trek episode 1967, but also in a continuous manner since Babylon. The Menagerie or The Cage, that was the name of it in Star Trek 1967.
So the reason that we're constantly being shown the truth and the confessions and the disclosures is because we are not only in a contained body, but we live in a contained realm where everything is disclosed all the time and nothing is missing or hidden or ever thrown away.
The Cage was made for a reported $630,000, and Gene Roddenberry made sure that money didn't go to waste. Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, the Menagerie, 2-part episode, repurposes footage from the pilot through flashback sequences, using it to tell a story about Spock, who was Leonard Nimoy, kidnapping Captain Christopher Pike and taking over the USS Enterprise before being summoned to court to explain his actions. The script won a prestigious Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation in 1967, and to this day, some fans regard The Menagerie as one of the best episodes of Star Trek, the original series.
So yes, it's considered one of the best episodes, but nobody knows the deeper reason why. And the reason is in the sound and the meaning of cage. So the sound of cage is K first, ka. So it's the K, age. The cage is not just a container or an enclosure. It also issues the K, age. So in the episode, they were all caged 100 miles under the surface by seemingly supernatural entities who had lost their way and destroyed all of their human mortals on their planet, and now basically heisted the soul spark of any mortals that were remaining. And when these visitors from Star Trek came to visit them, they were kidnapped and put into a cage until they realized the secret code to escape, which was one single word that starts with K, kindness.
What's the meaning of the Spanish word sí and the English word yes? The source of S is manifested into Ns or SNS. Emotion is E and motion, and a fracturing of ourselves as we came to the world in parity, pure essence, and zero judgments. As we adopt and adapt to the world of definitions, our pure essence fractures, and we then adopt the named emotions to traverse life.
So we let our parents and the suggestors of the world tell us what our feelings mean and what their names are. And then we wonder all by ourselves in a solo way, what is the meaning of my existence? What does it mean to exist? And again, in the speech, we always have the answer, because exist says, when you slow it down, X is T. And it's a clue to the Q, to the exit of the Q, the waiting area. In unique, we see uni plus Q, one waiting.
And someone wrote, emotions are part of what make us human. We can't contain the universe. If we deny emotion, we deny humanity. We're not perfect. Some are harder and tougher than others, but human connection, I see it as somewhat fragile. You can communicate through other modes. You can go into explosiveness, ego reaction, and other extremes, but some require a great gentleness that not all have the capacity to match. And ones that require great gentleness, I see as the most valuable, because they are often the most sensitive and observant. However, those that bear those qualities can be insufferable, as they wear them like a badge and make everything revolve around their sensitivity, i.e. snowflakes.
And this is where the word tolerance and intolerance come up. Because one of the highest qualities you can have if you recognize your power and your sanctity is tolerance. Because in your own body, you're unique in a very special way, having a solo and a soul journey. And if you disrespect others, you disrespect yourself. Each woman or man is perfect in their own body and story. We are each containing the entirety of creation and the universe, because we are the universes, and you can validate this with observation.
And the person responded, yeah, the first step in fixing a problem is admitting you have a problem. If you can't do that, well, then the problem might be pathological.
Again, there's no tolerance in labeling people with diseases. You will do the same thing over and over again if you decide that you can't admit to a problem or recognize one. It will just be cycles of returns to the same place you started. No day will ever have a change until you force a change the day before. The cycles are psychological calls. Calls. It's a mental construction. All of the loops are coming from the still pull, because every idea and all ideas come from the mind of God. Each of us humans carries this still point inside our pulsing hearts. We are each replaying the creation story in our own body.
And they responded, but I think man can over-intellectualize the body. We should be subject to the body and its rhythms.
So as you see, some people have no tolerance for the beautiful crystalline structure of the snowflake. But the word divine intellect has no boundary.
And they said, yes, but divinity is not humanity. I couldn't imagine being entirely divine. I'm flawed, physical, and messed up.
That's because you joined the challenge, the shall lunge. The word divine equals humanity, and you're here for a reason and a purpose.
And they responded, the only way I can make this make sense is through the person of Jesus Christ, who had both human and divine nature. As a Christian, for me to say that I am worthy of achieving the same perfection would be a kind of pride, or for me to say that I have attained it, I should say.
And that's because you were hammered with this meme and this speech repeatedly throughout your life since birth. The truth is that each of us within our own is a Christ epic in every way, every 24 hours, or 1440 minutes, which is the 144. The idea, notion, and action of pride is simply one of the game pieces in the gamble of life. The savior mentality that you're experiencing is a clue to the solution. Save your mentality. Have you looked at Rev 17 in the complete Jewish Bible? specifically the 10 horns you saw, are 10 kings who have not received a kingdom, and rulers without land, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings next to the beast. They have one purpose, and they will give their power and their authority to the beast.
And they responded, the main thing to be to ignore it. The point is too intense. Space-time opens, and then boom, half my brain explodes.
And that's because you were hammered since birth to turn away from the challenge and not face your own fire. The Revelation story is a blueprint that our adversaries wrote as disclosure, and they also follow it. It's worth looking at.
They said, how do I reap joy? Can I reap joy?
Anything that is planted or sown is reaped.
They said, is there an alternative to sadness? How does sadness get sown?
Well, sometimes less is more. The forest has trees in it. We all drive and think too fast. To sow or plant eternal bliss seeds, offer yourself the potential only on the way to claiming full control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your outcomes.
They responded, the potential actualized the basic nature. A broken vessel does not hold water.
Well, I'm sorry that we're leaving it here, but I have to say that all of the plasma is the air and the water, including what we're immersed with and containing in our own bodies. All plasma is in one location, so no matter.
And now a little more conversation about sowing sad to reap sad.
So another chat partner I was engaging, I mentioned when we sow sad, we reap sad every time.
And they responded, well, K equals 10 when J is removed. That's your view?
The J is undefinable because it is mocking the Christ essence or the soul spark, and that's an undefinable thing. In the word monkey, it's a similar animal as the mind. It only knows what it has seen before. The monkey on our backs is also the mon key when we slow it down, and this unravels all mysteries. The mind is not a trap. It is a game piece provided by the source of the game. No course is drawn without a starting point, and no problem will be addressed before it is identified.
And someone responded, and women seem to care most about mon e.
And that's because you were hammered since birth about the disparity of the gender universe between the masculine and the feminine. Money is not what a woman wants. Woman and man are equals. They are designed to unify. And the word divine, well, let me describe divine as literally as I can. It means that God split itself from I to I. Yeshua learned that when you focus, you become what you focused. And he learned this in the Tibetan peaks where they thought his name was pronounced Issa.
Let's walk down the road of the gender universe.
The word gender is completely misunderstood, and the notions of gender are mistaught by the powers that be, and this is to delay our progression or to cause a challenge in our course. The full enlightenment notion disregards the qualities of the dark and is a misadventure of the masculine's superego. We, a couple, a woman and a man, found God as a team in unity and parity.
And someone wrote, that made me smile. Thank you for your help.
The word Dao, D-A-O, is starting in foundation with letter D, the fourth, the force of nature, and then A-O for the never-ending line that has no beginning and no end. Tao equals natural order. Man equals ordered nature. N-O plus O-N makes noon. Both need to become in parity for the human to progress.
And a response, the balance of both.
Every 24-hour cycle is a 1440-minute cycle of the 144. The 144 shows the center point of 4 in, 4 out, and 1 in the center, or the edge of the coin. A day is named a die in Latin times because every 24 hours a man will rise, peak, fall, and return. The same as a wave. The same as the letter T, like a seesaw in the playground, or tau in Greek, which has the same meaning as Tao, and was the 19th letter. And when J is uncounted in modern English, T is the 19th letter.
And they wrote, I had this realization the other day, and it was kind of weird now that you mention it.
It's about timing and connections through the air itself, which we all share. The air is the spirit.
And another response, past you dies, there is almost a new life every day. I remember learning this. Same with parallel paths of reality as it unfolds. Problem is, we try to envision a future or a past perhaps, when it requires moment by moment focus.
The truth is that there are no futures because everything aggregates from the past to the now. Man can only envision a future, but he cannot have a change tomorrow unless he makes a change today. Winning itself flows like water. Bruce Lee exposed this. Every 24 hours is a Christ epic for every mortal. Every AM, we resurrect.
And they said, I appreciate the adjustment of perception, and I'm going to look into those names that have been mentioned.
Along with Theravada. So Theravada is one of the paths that are offered in Eastern traditions. But it just so happens that not far from there in the Mediterranean, the world was known as Terra about 13,000 years ago. Thera, or the TH era. The TH is the thoughts, and they come from the hat of the body, or the head. Thera was the name of Earth back then, and those are the same letters as Earth. To whom it may concern, save your mentality equals save your mentality. Only you are in charge of you. The air equals the spirit in Latin times. We all breathe and share the spirit.
And now let's look at Tao decoded. Everything is a procession. You own the controls. Nirvana and Zen are based from the observer's eyes. China wisdom exposes the path to God is between a man and a woman in mutual parity. We are not a Taoist. We reject all religions. And Apolli quit all religions at age 7 when God revealed itself to him. We live in a love field and a battlefield at once. Balance is the key to have enough peace for discovery. The universe and the universions appear in material due to a divine balance of contention. All is knowable. Everything is a procession. Ions are the spirit in form. Air is the physical engagement with God. You are at the controls and can point any direction. And someone wrote, that depends on your view and perspective. All 5 elements are engagement with God. Even though I don't know what you mean. Even though I don't know what you mean by God. So what do you mean by God? What's that? And then they wrote, natural phenomenon like wind exists. So yes, that's not a perfect statement. And direction itself is not a simple phenomenon either.
And these notions of intolerance are because we're hammered from birth, because we entered the challenge of the universe. So everything that we're taught is basically inverted or a mix of natural and unnatural. Again, to describe the vine as literally as I can, it means God split itself from I to I. In the Latin numeral system, there's 3 sets in 1 through 9. I, I, I for 1, 2, 3, recognizing the mother, the father, and the child. The 4, 5, 6 set is IV, V, and VI. And the third set is 7, 8, 9. Inside these 3 sets, they each have their own central figure, 2, 5, and 8. And they are the axis of each set, but 5 is the axis of the entire experience. Everything is equal between the complex and the obvious. Observation validates it.
And the response, that's good actually, but you need to see that this whole thing is one view and perspective. It can be changed. And also, can you explain what you mean by split? Nice explanation, by the way.
Okay, I'll elaborate on the word split, and we can find it in the language. In the words burst, spread, splay, dilute. It's seen in the root word der, der, and in the combined word gen plus der, or gender, the generation of the burst, the spread, and the splay into the gender universe. The word God in sounds is 3 sounds. Ga, ah, the appearance of a universe, and then di for Tao. Each owner of a lonely heart is 100% in control and has 0 external enemies. Coincidences are considered too complex to unravel, but in actuality, observation proves that coincidences are a stage within processions of the life of a supernatural woman or man.
Okay, now we'll end with a Matt chat. And Matt wants to know why we're here on Earth.
So we'll start in the middle of our convo where I mentioned that the nanobots in our bodies will take over all of these minor issues that we concern ourselves with.
And Matt said, they are in our blood?
And in our brain in many cases, and all through the air and the materials and all the infrastructures.
Matt said, how is it released through Wi-Fi? You told me you get it through excessive use of AI.
They've literally set up receiver points in the human anatomy, secretly, covertly, through 5th generation warfare that connect to the Wi-Fi infrastructure systems, the internet. The aliens are in full force, and no one ever lifted a finger. So what the alien is a lean. It's like the Ides of March that's going to happen in a continuous basis once we come to realize it. The debt collectors are here, and we never collected our bounty, and now we're going to pay the price for it.
Matt said, and how to remove them? Sauna works.
The number one way to remove the effectiveness of the nanobot aliens in your body is to claim yourself as the boss, and that will provide the highest return of your effort and energy.
I am myself, my boss, but how do I completely remove doubt and fear, etc.?
Specifically, by knowing your inception and your maker, by knowing the world is a liar, by knowing that you are more than your body.
I am merely just a soul trapped in a body, aren't I? But why did I choose to be in this body?
The words tolerance and intolerance come to bear again. If you can open your mind and allow for the things you don't know yet to exist, then you won't let the hammers of the memes that you've been hit with since birth to mold your reality and your views. If you want to pay off your debt of this cosmic 3D video game ticket entrance fee, then accept the fact that it's a challenge and you took the challenge.
Matt said, cosmic 3-dimensional video game? Why are we here?
We are here for a solo and a soul experience at the same time. Soul plus O makes solo. We each are having a one experience and a many experience inside our own body. Each of us handles the weight of the challenge uniquely.
Matt said, soul experience? Do you believe in old souls? So is that SOL equals soul, SOUL? That makes sense, 1000%.
Consider the word soul, o, man, soul of mine. The soul, SOL, in the word Solomon is the feminine, coming from nothing. The mon, MON, is the man and the claimer of mine, the father. The O in the center is the child, the of, the one who holds the hands with the spark of God. The Solomon, or the soul Oman, is the format of every single human being.
While the one experience being the solo experience plus the many equals others?
The many are sharing one soul. Christ as a name or a title is a lie. Christ is a word, and it references the soul.
Yes, it's not Jesus.
It's Jesus because we say it over and over again and we're hammered from birth. And Jesus is also a trick word because the mystic's name was Yeshua or Esa, depending on where you met him. To revere the soul is up to each unique person. The notion of savior mentality is a clue to exit the queue. Say it slower. Save your mentality. Only you are in charge of you. And that is the challenge, told plainly in every direction where you're not blindfolded and looking and listening.
And Matt said, that's why God has given us the consciousness. In other words, a chunk of his power.
See, we each occupy a fragment of God's power embedded in our hearts. It is plainly obvious.